Here's what you need to know. Number one is this statistic. It's going to hit home and it probably is going to make you uncomfortable. But right now, a mere 8% of all companies are adding age into their diversity, equity, and inclusion statements. And when we get through this episode, you're going to have those 3 filters for understanding where the greywashing is and how to disarm it. So back to this 8%, because what does that mean? 92% are not including it. I'm not going to call them out on greywashing per se, but what I am going to say is they're not exactly sticking up for age either. Just because they put some kind of image on their website or you see a banner someplace or any of that doesn't mean that they're actually committing to DE&I policies where age makes the cut.
The idea of job security is outdated as a landline. If you haven't been in a search for a while, it's probable you will at some point, by choice or not. Most executives admit to staying way too long or sense what's coming and justify staying anyway. There's another reason. The faulty belief that navigating to what's next will inevitably be worse and has to suck. Screw that. Lauren Greif has spent a lifetime in corporate and executive search, calling bullshit on stale career advice that most still use. This is Career Blast in a Half, the career podcast for executives ready to cut past outdated career advice to fuel your outcomes now. So let's go.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Well, it's actually not such a little secret. The secret is a corporate lie that no one's really talking about until now. If you're not familiar with the term greywashing, I'm going to lay it on you. Right? Greywashing refers to the deceptive practice by organizations presenting themselves as age inclusive or age friendly, while their actual policies, culture, and hiring practices continue to perpetuate age discrimination, especially for older professionals. So what they say and what they do are not aligning. In this episode today, what I really want to talk about is not just what it is, but clearly how to work around it. I'm going to give you a lot of the pieces to see it, call it, and get around it, because pretending it isn't going to happen isn't going to be helpful. So I'm all in on this. And I know you are too, because you're probably one of these people. If you haven't reported it, here's what you need to know. Number one is this statistic. It's going to hit home and it probably is going to make you uncomfortable. But right now, a mere 8% of all companies are adding age into their diversity, equity, and inclusion statements. And when we get through this episode, you're going to have those 3 filters for understanding where the greywashing is and how to disarm it. So back to this 8%, because what does that mean? 92% are not including it. I'm not going to call them out on greywashing per se, but what I am going to say is they're not exactly sticking up for age either. So just because they put some kind of image on their website or you see a banner someplace or any of that doesn't mean that they're actually committing to DE&I policies where age makes the cut. So 44% of workers right now over 40 are experiencing age discrimination. That's not that they're suspected of it or that they're not experiencing it. They're living it. And 21%, 1 in 5, is walking into work every day knowing that their age is not working for them. It's working against them. Another 36% feel that their age has cost them a job since they turned 40. And no doubt, age discrimination claims are rising, and the EEOC is consistently receiving thousands of discrimination claims annually, while experts believe that most instances are still underreported. So, while companies are crafting these mission statements and going through all this, the way it looks, they're quietly also filtering out resumes with graduation dates before 2010. You're probably asking, like, why is this so pervasive? Why is this still happening? It's because no company is going to raise their hand and go, oh yeah, we're biased against different ages. And that keeps it invisible. And so does this coded language that I'm going to share with you. Language like high energy, right? Thrives in uncertainty. And of course, the one that we all can see through, digital native, right? Translation, we don't want old people. That stat and the lawsuits I'm going to share with you might shock you, but they're not what matters in this episode. What matters is your ability to see it, know where it is, and get around it so that you are not trying to figure out why they say one thing and something else happens. So the first myth I just want to completely disarm, and the misconception is if I see inclusive language, it means the company is adhering to it. And that's not necessarily true. Just because you see age inclusive language doesn't make the company safe. You got to do a lot of digging on your own to find that out. Second one, big brands with DEI reports don't discriminate. Again, not true. So read the fine print. And myth number 3 is, well, it's just a few bad eggs, right? And that it isn't widespread. The ultimate trap is taking this branding at face value, because when you go through those AI applicant tracking systems and job descriptions, they're often so coded, and we're going to show you where, to elicit exclusion, not inclusion. So I want you to know that there is no safe place right now. Ageism is growing, and at the same time, loudmouths like me are speaking up and providing this information in order to help you have more understanding of where and how to navigate around it. So the first place that you're going to find it is in language, right? The ones we talked about, digital native and energetic, you can expect those. But the more nuanced ones, the real red flags, seeking fresh ideas and perspectives. And this one, rate your comfort with new platforms. Come on. You can tell them. You can tell them about those new platforms. So use your judgment, decode, and then make a decision whether you're going to avoid or go for it. And I'm not advocating for either one other than having the information at your fingertips. Tech filters, right? That's the second area that you can filter for. Age screening tools, for example, like Workday, who's now facing a collective action lawsuit, is allegedly charged with powering screening tools that disproportionately reject candidates over 40. This case is still in process and there's more, but my point is that you don't have control over what happens on the back end with any of these applicant tracking systems, especially those that are AI. So what that means for you is, you've got to build those relationships so that they convert into referrals, which are 9 times more likely to land you a job. I am blowing the lid off of our best kept secret, our 30-day blast program. Yeah, you heard it. 30 days. We have seen so much success for this program that past clients have landed in that 30 days and increased their compensation 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, over 100%. Now, not everybody lands and earns that much in 30 days, but my point is it prepares you. And in 30 days, if you're not out of there with a changed mindset and changed, clear and simple ways to be able to navigate the market this year, then we'll gladly refund your misery and you can go back to applying now. Check out the link below for the next 30-day blast, and we would love to have you there because we live for your success, and that's what's really important. See you then. And the last filter is just the plain old perception. The plain old perception that you're too expensive, that you're too experienced, that you won't adapt. You're not too anything. Now, maybe you're a little too aware, which is good. But the antidote to this, and the most important thing that you need to do right here, and I'm going to repeat this twice. I want you to be reframing your value to address exactly what they're looking for. I want you to reframe it so that you are addressing the expensive and urgent problems that company or industry is going through. And I want you to address it in your content, in your conversations, and of course, in your interviews. You are the solution to many, many, many expensive and urgent problems that gives you an unfair advantage. And we need you to have an unfair advantage because your value isn't up for grabs, but they need to know what that is. So frame your experience to address the urgent and expensive problems that the company or industry is going through. Do it as many places as you can. Get that message out there. It needs to be on your banner, in your email signature. You can even put it on your phone voicemail. You're looking for your unfair advantage so that you could be the solution to those urgent and expensive problems. So what does this do? It immediately starts to undercut those perceptions because now they can see that you are up and current with what they need. And also that those patterns of recognition that you have built in because of your age, those are the kinds of agility and the things that they need to know for now and for the future. So we really need to position all this experience as the ability to forecast and help address those things that are not just happening now, but likely to come up if they don't hire you. So don't be afraid of making claims about where you have solved these problems and mitigated future risk. Some real examples, and I'm going to give you a lawsuit roll call just so that you can hear some of the companies, the known companies that are greywashing right now. RTX, they're formerly known as Raytheon, is accused of federal class action lawsuits for reserving positions for recent grads, systematically screening out older candidates despite public claims of diversity and inclusion. Also, Citigroup and Wells Fargo both have faced lawsuits for age discrimination in hiring and employment practices, even as they promote diversity in their branding. Who else? IBM, Facebook, Google, Wayfair, and as I mentioned before, Workday. PwC reached an $11.6 million settlement in age discrimination lawsuit, allegedly hiring practices favoring younger applicants despite public diversity commitments. Wow. Okay. We're not immune to this. We run into this all the time. In fact, one of our clients, about 56, 57 years old, kept hearing, "You're overqualified. You're overqualified." He was not overqualified. He was perfectly qualified, but we needed to shift his positioning so that he was able to land a transformation role, a digital transformation role at one of the hottest up and coming startups. So it was a growth stage firm. And guess what? They didn't care at all about his age. They saw that as a huge benefit. Why? Because he did exactly what I told you to do. He could see through his pattern recognition, which is exactly what you have by virtue of your age. You've seen it. You've done it. Now I want you to leverage it. So that was a winning strategy for him and also made it easy for them to walk away from some of those biases out in the field. Startups, by the way, are a great place for older workers because they need you and they need you to kind of bring a lot of that previous experience of aligning, processes and systems, which many startups don't have. The breakdown here is candidates that get dismissed are competing on credentials. Candidates that get seen and move in this process are leading with transformation, alignments of problem solution, as I talked about before, and modern day thinking. That's the relevance that I always want you to think about, not just experience, but relevance. Of course, there's some hidden costs to not doing this. I do need to bring this up because I don't want to see you internalizing this rejection and blaming your age instead of a positioning that can be changed and controlled. The second one, oh man, the mental toll, the confidence erosion, the shrinking network behavior. And I'm sure you've been there, like quiet quitting of your own search. Compare that to the ROI of reclaiming your narrative. Roles that are aligned to your values put your vanity aside and let you do exactly what you're here to do, which is to create impact. Also, of course, you want that traction, that career momentum that outlasts broken hiring systems. So if you need to do it again and again and again, you've got the flywheel. Remember this, please. You're not too old. You're too qualified to play small and to let this get in your way. I hope that this gave you some fuel, and also you know where to find me. You can always find me on LinkedIn. My links are below if you'd like to set up a call. If you liked this episode and you want more on greywashing or anything else related to it, please let me know. My email is also in the show notes. And lastly, I'm going to ask you, please go ahead and write us an Apple Podcast review, because we are growing and I so appreciate all of you listening this week, last week, and next week coming up. So have a great rest of your day, and thank you for everything.
Thank you for joining today. We appreciate your listening ears. Big time. We ask this: use these tools, not tomorrow, right now, and share them by spreading the love, leaving us a rating and subscribe so you don't miss the next career blast and a half. Most of all, thank you for you.